Good evening and welcome again to Her Path to Success. This is a very exciting show that caters to women and young ladies and gives you something to think about by the time we finish. We usually interview some awesome women who will discuss things about their lives that are challenging, and hopefully you sitting in your living room will take away something from every show. Today I am so honored to have a wonderful friend and a colleague, Rachel Downs. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on our show.
Joanna, I'm really thrilled to be here today.
Rachel, you and I met through a women's organization, Commercial Real Estate Women, and I think you were the president or becoming the president, and you were a broker.
Yes.
And here in this area, commercial brokers are primarily men.
Correct.
And do you know what percent of commercial brokers are women? Like maybe 2 to 3%?
I would say that that's probably accurate. I literally built my career in commercial real estate starting as a receptionist when I first graduated from high school, fell in love with the industry, and pursued various professional opportunities in property management and market research, and went to school to pursue my degree in finance. And in my mid-20s was offered the opportunity to get into brokerage. And at the time, I would say that you could probably count on one hand the number of women that were in brokerage.
So when you decided to enter the world of commercial real estate, and you knew that it was mostly men, did that scare you? Was it intimidating? What drove you to enter an industry that is only 2 to 3% women?
You know, it's one of those things where I was young enough that I didn't really give it a lot of thought, and I think that in hindsight that was a good thing, because what I loved about the industry is that it was so varied in terms of the number of skill sets that you have to incorporate into your practice. So it really allowed me the opportunity to do what I love to do, which is serve people and craft innovative solutions.
So you didn't even think about it. You just said, this is something I want to do, and you never thought about. So once you entered the industry, let's say fast forward a few years, and maybe reality settled and you've seen now the competition is mostly men. Did you ever have to deal with the fact that you're in a minority?
You know, it's interesting because I would say that being a woman in commercial real estate, it really was a competitive advantage. I think that I was a different type of professional in the industry, and I think that women naturally really are natural collaborators, and that is a key competency when you are representing a client and looking to overcome and craft solutions so that you can close transactions. So from that perspective, I think that being a woman in this industry is a competitive advantage. I will say that as I started really kind of achieving the levels of success that made me a true competitor in the marketplace to some of the men in the industry, that there were some barriers to kind of success that I didn't anticipate.
Glass ceiling?
It's interesting because part of it was being on the wrong side of a corporate merger.
But what kind of barriers did you run into as a woman?
Not really recognizing that there's a culture and kind of a importance of managing up well. One of the things that I really enjoyed about brokerage is that you are, for all intents and purposes, your own boss. It's up to you to find and work with your clients, execute on their behalf, and really kind of create your own success. But inside a brokerage operation, you're still responsible for building relationships with your colleagues and your managers. And I would say that I naively underestimated how important that would be to my success.
Interesting. We've talked a lot about on this show the importance of building relationships, the importance of building a network, and that most women, most any professional needs to build a network around themselves so that they can have people that will help them move forward in their career. So it's interesting that you say that, because that's a common denominator that comes across many of the interviews that we've done, is you have to have those relationships, you have to build them. And in order to build a strong relationship, it takes time, because it has to be built on trust. So fast forward, you've left the commercial real estate brokerage world, and now you're overseeing an exciting project about entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And entrepreneurship is very important to women, and but I'd like to hear a little bit about the project that you're overseeing.
So, as you know, when I left brokerage, I looked to find a way to transition my skills and experience into community and economic development. And I have just been named the new Vice President for Entrepreneurial Strategies for Inform in the Inform Center for Leadership. So,
Which, by the way, congratulations.
Thank
I think
you.
it's an awesome promotion for you.
Thank you. Again, kind of transitioning my skills and experience developed over 20 years of commercial real estate brokerage. I find that I'm kind of uniquely positioned to lead our new Activate strategy, which is designed to help women launch new business ventures and commercialize intellectual property. The program really kind of addresses the, let's call it, unconscious barriers to entry. Women are not necessarily socialized to be comfortable taking on the kind of risk that's required in stepping out to launch a new business venture. And the Activate program is designed to really provide entrepreneurial education, but all the support and access to resources and professional services that are available to them so that they can launch a new business venture. And what's really exciting about the program is that it's designed to do this without requiring them to leave their full-time employment if they're not yet ready to do so.
So I'm a woman. I have an idea of a business that I want to develop, but I'm too scared to leave my job. I've got mortgage and bills that I have to pay, so I'm working 9 to 5. So the program that you're overseeing that will help give me the skills to launch my own business will actually work around my business schedule.
Absolutely. So Activate is a 10-month applied learning methodology that meets once a week from 6 to 9:30 and one
In the evening. Okay.
And one full Saturday a month.
Okay.
It is taught by experienced entrepreneurs and venture capital professionals, and it will take a budding entrepreneur through every stage of launching a business. So it's everything from vetting your business idea to doing the market research, writing your business plan, developing your financial pro forma, building your professional team, understanding the different financial vehicles that are available to you, identifying your first customer, and then developing your marketing and PR campaign so that you are ready to launch your business.
And this is 10 months.
Correct.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about all the different facets of owning a business, and people, for example, okay, I know how to provide a specific service, but you never stop to think about, well, how do I promote myself? How do I get my first client? How do I get financing to open up my business? Let's say I'm an attorney, I want to open up my own law firm. People, I think, don't realize how expensive overhead can be before you even open your door for business. You have to lease space, you have to buy furniture, you have to build out the space, you have to do a marketing plan. You have to spend so much money, and you haven't even reached your first customer. And most people don't realize how difficult that is, to start a business. So if you were giving advice, maybe your top 3 pieces of advice that you would give a woman who, let's say she's a mother, she's young, she's energetic, she's working for someone, but she has a passion and she has a dream and she wants to start her own business, and she doesn't have access to capital. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have access to a network because from work she goes home and takes care of her second job, and that's a problem that we women have, is we don't have the time to build a network around us. So what advice would you give this young lady?
Well, I would say that one of the key competencies of leadership is self-awareness. So know yourself, understand what your strengths are and what you bring to the table, and then build your team and partner with other individuals who bring strengths that are complementary to your own. That way you have that full value proposition to move into the market. As it relates to building a network, that's another really exciting element to the Activate program, is that it's really designed to match professionals with complementary business skills, and it provides access to not only the cohort that we're developing here in Michigan, but access to the Activate network across the country. The third leg of our Engage strategy at Inforum is really developing the ASTIA Capital Network. So ASTIA is a global network of advisors and investors who are dedicated to supporting women-led ventures.
So basically what you're giving these women is a mentor, almost.
Yes. So the program is really designed to be a platform to kind of mitigate the risk that's involved in launching a new business venture. So it's the actual education of step by step what it takes to launch a business. It's the introductions and the access to the resources and the experts that you may need to make sure that you're moving, down the right path. And then again, ensuring that you've got everything that you need to launch your business successfully and be generating revenue before you kind of take both feet off the ground and become a full-time CEO.
So this is a new idea for Inforum. Why is it that Inforum, that used to be called the Women's Economic Club,
Yes.
Decided to undertake this project? Why now?
It's interesting. Our CEO, Terry Barkley, actually identified this trend and went to the Kauffman Foundation. And Kauffman is really the leader in entrepreneurial grant making in the country. And she asked the question, is there a difference between men and women in the entrepreneurial arena? And the answer was yes. Particularly in the STEM industries, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Women comprise 60% of the STEM graduates across the country, and yet they're only responsible for launching 2% of the business ventures in those industries.
Wow, what a scary statistic.
Well, this is really about kind of addressing what I would call unconscious biases. So what are the barriers to entry for women? Women are not typically comfortable or socialized to be comfortable taking that kind of risk. So that's why the Activate program is so exciting, because it's really designed to address all of those issues that might make someone hesitant to step into the arena.
Why do you think a woman, if they represent 60% of the graduates, let's say in the science field, and they're only representing 2 to 3% of the actual launches of launching an idea, what's happening in between that is discouraging these young ladies? Is it herself? Is it society? What's happening? That's a big gap right there.
My personal opinion is that, again, women are just not socialized to be comfortable taking that kind of risk. Women like to be certain of the answers and the outcomes. So I would say that they typically would prefer to operate in an environment where they know that they're going to be receiving a paycheck on a regular basis so that they can meet their financial obligations.
So it's the risk. They want to control the risk and of at least assuring some sort of success before they go down a path of launching an idea.
I would agree.
Interesting. You know that this show is brought by the Arab American Women's Business Council.
Yes.
And you've attended some events. You've traveled overseas with the Arab American Women's Business Council, and you saw some of the things that we are doing overseas with women all around the